Now remember, these inventions of men that are there to do evil under Satan, we'll call these legalists. They basically are referred to in Paul's writings, but we have to understand Paul was formerly a legalist. He was involved in the Roman civil law. That is the basis of our law today. I will go in another video later why you will never get a civil court into a common law jurisdiction. Mainly because all the instruments are civil in nature. So it's like trying to mix oil and water. Won't happen. You are in a civil system. Now, the Romans basically had people like Paul in the past, Saul of Tarsus, who was a prosecutor, would go after the early Christians, throwing them into courts and arenas of death. And he was very, very familiar with the civil law of the Romans. So he was aware of their inventions. And of course, we have to remember too, at the time of Christ, what did the leader or the emperor or the Caesar at that time say? Let's register the world. He wasn't talking about natural people. He was talking about legal fiction citizens in their invention construct. So he says, let's tax the fictions. Let's tax those who don't know. So we go into Romans, and Paul writes about these people, but he's also telling about the position he was promoting the gospel message. For he says, I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. For in it the righteousness of God is revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, but the righteous man shall live by faith. Remember, that's good faith, not bad faith. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness, unrighteousness of men, who suppress the truth in unrighteousness, which is in the legal system. Because that which is known about God is evident within them, for God made it evident to them. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood through what has been made, so that they are without excuse. For even though they knew God, they did not honor him as God or give thanks, but they became futile in their speculations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing to be wise, they became fools, and exchanged the glory of incorruptible God for an image in the form of corruptible man, and of birds and four-footed animals and crawling creatures, as we can see on coat of arms documents that are on these records outside the frame. Of course, they create shields and emblems of worship amongst themselves. And it says, therefore God gave them over in the lusts of their hearts to impurity, that their bodies might be dishonored among them. For they exchanged the truth of God for a lie, a fiction, and worshipped and served the creature rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this reason God gave them over to degrading passions. For their women exchanged the natural function for that which is unnatural. And in the same way also men abandoned the natural function of the woman and burned in their desire toward one another, men with men committing indecent acts and receiving in their own persons the due penalty of their error. And just as they did not see fit to acknowledge God any longer, God gave them over to a depraved mind to do those things which are not proper. Remember, the world of man runs in common, not proper. Being filled with all unrighteous wickedness, greed, evil, full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, malice. They are gossips. Remember, gossips come from the Catholic terminology of the godmother and godfather who sponsor you into your legal church surname faith. Slanderers, haters of God, insolent, arrogant, boastful, inventors of evil, which of course leads to the birth certificate instrument. It's an invention of evil. Disobedient to parents, without understanding, untrustworthy, unloving, unmerciful, and although they know the ordinance of God, that those who practice such things are worthy of death, they not only do the same, but also give hearty approval to those who practice them. Welcome to the lawyers, the legal society. So if you believe in this book of God, you will see the message that will show you the escape route out. But it certainly will not be remaining in the legal practice of this world.